Hi, this is Tisch Aitken, and this is your weekly report, and it is Friday, February 25th, 2022. And I'm here to discuss the new moon that takes place on March 2nd, 2022. The new moon will occur at 12:35 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at 12 degrees and 6 minutes of the mutable water sign of Pisces. And that is a really manifesting, magical new moon. I'm really excited to talk about that because there has been such a somber quality the beginning part of this year, and we're still in the early part of the year. But we began the year with Venus retrograde, and I think that brought a stagnation in feeling creative, or that there are creative solutions. Venus only retrogrades once every year and a half, and it retrograded in the sign of challenges and restrictions. It retrograded at 26 degrees and 29 minutes of the Earth sign of Capricorn, setting off for Pluto, planet of death and rebirth and elimination and transformation, station retrograde at the end of April of 2021. And Venus and Pluto have been working closely since the early middle part of December of 2021. They met up in the sky on December 11th, December 25th, and they will meet up a third and final time on March 3rd, which is the day after the new moon. And there is a ferocious, passionate, intense quality with that lineup, because as we begin the month of March, Venus is at 26 degrees of Capricorn, as is Mars. And that is the degree at which Venus station retrograde on December 19th. Venus will clear its shadow on March 2nd. So there isn't so much of a reflective quality and that intensity we've been experiencing. Obviously, the beginning of March is very intense because Pluto and Mars are both the rulers of Scorpio. Pluto is the modern ruler, the planet of power, joint resources, healing, and transformation, as well as loss and death. Mars is the ancient ruler of Scorpio, the planet of passion, anger, initiative, drive, and willpower. And the new moon occurs on March 2nd. Venus and Mars have been dancing in the sky since January 30th, and that's the day after Venus station direct. And that's a very creative quality, and it is loving, and it is romantic and sexy. But in Capricorn, so emphasized on taking accountability and ownership of what you have been doing, what you have not been doing. Venus retrograded where Saturn, which is the modern ruler of Capricorn and the ancient ruler of Aquarius. Saturn got to 26 degrees of Capricorn the very end of February, approximately February 24th, and it exceeded this degree on November 4th of 2020. Venus and Pluto working in tandem. What do you need to purge to evolve? Honoring all the loss we've experienced, and there's no way of reconciling that. It's been very, very painful, but how do we heal in the collective in the new age of Aquarius, which has been very difficult? Saturn and Uranus are both the rulers of Aquarius. They were clashing in the sky 3 times in 2021, making it a lot more difficult to structure the ingenuity and brilliance. And it's still very unpredictable, but I do feel that a big part of the equation is Jupiter in Pisces. Now, it's going to be in Pisces on and off this year, but this new moon is giving us a glimpse of the magic. It's suspension of disbelief. It's surrendering to the possibility of miracles. And I'm saying this when we're facing the situation in Russia. We're seeing Pluto, which takes 248 years to orbit. It got to 27 degrees of Capricorn in the month of February, and that is the degree of the U.S. chart. Pluto is at 27 degrees of Capricorn and was in 1776. So an individual does not experience his or her Pluto return, because nobody lives to be 248 years, thank God, but we are seeing it of the nation of the United States, and we are in really, really difficult times. You know, this is another layer that we didn't need, but it's going on, and so we have to tap into our own power. We have to tap into love and into faith, however that is, because there are many different ways of having faith and belief systems, but love, empathy, compassion, and that's been so challenged anyway, because we're dealing with alienation and stress and loss, and everybody's getting irritable, understandably. But this new moon is and inviting all of us to open our hearts to love. Neptune is the modern ruler of Pisces, and it represents selfless love. It represents beauty and solace and solace rather, and not the soulless, solace. And so got to connect to soul. And in the new moon chart, Jupiter and Neptune are 8 degrees apart. So they're not exactly conjunct. They're getting close. And this is an expansive energy. That's a very manifesting energy around dreams and love. The two will meet up in the sky exactly between April 9th, peaking on April 12th at 23 degrees of the mutable water sign of Pisces. But that Jupiter-Neptune energy is starting to become palpable as we get into the month of March as well. And Jupiter expands whatever it comes into contact with. So in the case of the new moon, I cast the chart for Washington, D.C., for 12:35 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The ascendant, which is the ruler of the chart, is Cancer. The moon rules the sign of Cancer, and it is a new moon chart. The new moon is at 12 degrees and 6 minutes of Pisces, falling in the 9th house of higher learning and belief systems and optimism and opportunity and hope. Boy, do we need hope. We need it majorly. Conjunct Jupiter, the modern ruler of Sagittarius and the ancient ruler of Pisces. Mercury, which is the planet of communication, is transiting in Aquarius, where it's brilliant and visionary. It is conjunct Saturn, and it meets up with Saturn at 11:33 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Also in the house of hope, teaching, learning, belief systems. How do we structure our learning and thinking to reach the collective? And Pisces is about quiet wisdom. It's about listening to messages and intuition. Aquarius is about connection through communication and social media and technology, but it is the higher octave of Uranus is the higher octave of Mercury. It's sheer brilliance. But how do we harness that brilliance in chaos? And how do we harness the hope when things feel limiting, and our freedom could feel limiting, and however that is for each person? But with the new moon conjunct Jupiter, that is magic and miracles. And in belief systems and hope and optimism, do a ritual that speaks to you. Pisces is a very creative and musical sign. So singing, chanting, listening to music, playing the drums, whatever that is, do it. You know, if it's about, you know, I love to sage the apartment often on full moons. Well, now, but definitely in the new moon, I'll be all over the place. I'll be tapping into my inner hippie like no other time. So we need to do that. And Jupiter and Neptune are also conjunct. Venus and Mars are conjunct, but they change signs on March 6th. Venus and Mars will both enter the first degree of Aquarius. They will meet up exactly at 11:12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Pacific Standard Time on March 5th, and at 2:12 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on March 6th. And that is a really magical energy. But in the new moon chart, Mars and Pluto are at 27 degrees. Venus is at 26 degrees. And Venus is in the house of relationships. Pluto and Mars are in the house of healing and transformation and letting go and, working with what you need to up level and having courage. And it's a very passionate, romantic, sexy energy, but there definitely could be endings. If there is a relationship or something keeping you from your magic, well, this new moon is a kind of a deal breaker on that too, because Pluto meets up with both Venus and Mars on March 3rd. Mars and Pluto meet up at 3:43 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Venus and Pluto meet up at 12:56 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on March 3rd, the day after the new moon. So commit to the love and magic and passion that gets you through and gives you optimism to manifest new possibilities and purge what's keeping you from your future. It's now time to reconcile that the past is over. And, we always deal with the past, but really in this story, Venus is now clearing its shadow. Mercury already cleared its shadow when it retrograded initially in Aquarius. We're saying goodbye to the epic of Capricorn. We're not revisiting it anymore. We're dealing with the zaniness and magic and mysticism of Jupiter and Pisces, and we're dealing with the brilliance and chaos of the new age of Aquarius. I want to speak to one other thing that's going on. Jupiter expands whatever it comes into contact with. And in Pisces, it's definitely about expanding magic, but Pisces is a sign, every planet has a higher and a lower form. The higher form is the divine, the inspiration, the love, and the magic. The lower form is escapism, deception, confusion, and delusion. And so Jupiter conjunct Neptune can spread things, whether it's dealing with illness or whether it's dealing with confusion or fear. So you want to keep working with the magic and with the love and optimism that you're trying to bring into your life and the people you love. But also, Neptune and Pisces are both indicators of undoing, self-undoing on the lower form. And so already it's been a time of increased escapism and overdoses and suicide, working with that light to get yourself through a very, very disruptive and painful time. Working with crystals, working with metaphysics, astrology, numerology, tarot, manifestation, meditation, Reiki, EFT. Those are just some modalities, yoga. But so, if it's out there and it's Pollyannic and it's hippie-ish, well, we need it. So what? But also, centering yourself if you are dealing a lot with depression, checking in with others, because there will be a need to want to escape more. And we might see that a lot more in the months of March and April. And again, we are dealing with such difficult time in history and in life, but this is the time when we often see creative renaissances occur. This is a time where ingenuity will change everything, and we have on in that magic. I've had some temporary slips. I probably will have more. We all will at times, but I also have a lot of inspiration. So thank you guys so much, and wishing you guys the best.